So this week's video is about the roses that I would have if I were to start over with a new rose garden in Missouri. Last week I did roses I probably wouldn't grow again. Um, this week is ones that I would want to start a rose garden with in Missouri. I'm going to do one in Oregon and one in Georgia for the next couple weeks because location is going to vary from and roses, how they respond and how well they grow is going to vary from location. Um, so without further ado, the first rose that I would have in a new rose garden here in Missouri is Charles DeMille's. Um, my experience in Missouri has been a 5B 6A zone, so that's what I'm going off of. I understand there are some zones that are different in Missouri, but that's what I'm going off of. Um, so the first rose is Charles DeMille's. Uh, Charles DeMille's is my favorite rose. I would prefer not to be without it again in the future. If I were ever to move and have to start over with rose garden, uh, it's a nice Gallica rose. It does bloom once, but I love the rose. It's the rose that got me into the garden um, aspect of roses, and um, it's, like I said, it's one that I probably would prefer not to be without in the future. The next rose is Graham Thomas. That's a nice yellow English rose. I grew it in Oregon. Um, I liked it. I wish I could grow it. I mean, I have. It's not. I wish I could grow. Like I'm not capable of it. I just don't have it. I wish it was in my yard. I guess would be the better thing. Um, worth being able to track down. Worth being able to grow. Definitely recommend Graham Thomas. The next rose is Raubritter. Um, the reason that I would add it to my yard in Missouri is I really like the open singlish cups that it has. Um, plus, it's not one that you'll find very often. I grew it in Oregon and in Georgia. Um, I found it a great rose. I loved it. It was great. And recommend if you are able to get it. The next rose is Abraham Darby. It's a David Austin rose. Um, I love this David Austin rose. I've got several in my yard in Missouri. Um, it's not my favorite David Austin rose. My favorite one is the Reed, which is hard to find. Um, I would recommend Abraham Darby if you're able to get it to start. If I were to start a new garden in Missouri, I would definitely have Abraham Darby in there as well. I grew it, but all in Georgia and Missouri. Um, it's a great rose. It changes colors throughout the season, so that's a nice as well. Definitely a rose I would recommend. The next rose is Tuscany Superb. It's a nice one. It's blooming Gallica. Um, I would have it morphed for the historical aspect. It is from 1837. Um, for me in Missouri, it does only have like a 2 week bloom period, which is a little short, but I still would grow mostly due to the historical aspect of it. The next rose is Blue for You. I love this rose, how it starts out pink and then fades to this like dusky purple. Um, that's probably the main reason why I would make sure I would have it if I was starting a new rose garden here in Missouri. It overwinters fine in my yard. Uh, Again, it's a 5B 6A, so that is important. It does fine coming out of the winter, going into and coming out of the winter so far. Um, I've only grown this rose here in Missouri, so I don't have any other climates to compare it to, but it is a nice rose. It is somewhat single, so it does have hips, open pollinated a lot, and so that's an extra bonus. I think very nice rose. The next rose is Treasure Trail by Paul Barden. So that's one of the reasons why I would have it, is because Paul Barden roses need to be grown more often, in my opinion. I only grew in Missouri. Unfortunately, my wife got weed killer on it and it kind of died. Um, not kind of, it did die, but it's a nice rose. Uh, I like the form. It's a mini moss. It's an overall, if you're able to get it, it's worth the um, acquiring it. If I could grow it again, I would do it, and whether I was starting it here in Missouri or somewhere else as well. If I could grow it again, I would do it. The next rose is Heritage, a soft pink David Austin rose. Um, it's a nice rose. I like it. It blooms a lot. Um, last year it set quite a bit of open pollinated hips, so that was a bonus. Definitely one that is worth growing. One that I would have in a new garden if I had to start over in Missouri. The next rose is Variegata di Bologna, or Bologna, or however it's pronounced. I like the fact that it's striped. I grew it in Oregon. It was a nice rose. It got big, so do keep that in mind. I don't mind big roses though. Um, so that's nice. I tried growing it here in Missouri. Unfortunately, the supplier in which I got it sent me a solid pink rose, which could have been Variegata di Bologna at one point, and then it reverted to a solid pink color, or it could have been something else. I call it my not Variegata di Bologna. But for Variegata di Bologna, I've I have no problems with it. Yeah, I understand people say there may be disease issues. For me, I let my roses get big. They all grow together. If there's disease issues, it gets covered up by another rose bush that's usually healthy. So that is not a problem for me. I like the stripedness of the roses. I like it a lot better than the Variegata or the Cenifolia Variegata or Village Made, because that variegation is not as pronounced as the Variegata di Bologna. So if I had to pick one of those two, I would definitely pick Variegata di Bologna to start a new one in Missouri. The next rose is Iceberg. It's a Floribunda rose. I've grown it in Georgia, Oregon, and Missouri. Um, this is my first year growing it in Missouri, so we'll see how hardy it is. But I mean, even if it's not super hardy and it dies back or something like that, I would still grow it if I were to start a new rose garden, because I like the fact that it's white. It stands out. Um, it's not pink. I mean, I don't mind the pink coloring roses. It's just a different color. Um, it because it's not pink, because it's not red, it does stand out from the rose garden. So that's one of the reasons why I would grow it. But I like it. It's a nice rose. The next rose, and definitely not the least rose, is Marianne, again by Paul Barden. It's a cross between David Austin's Abraham Darby and uh, Duchessa de Montebello, with Duchessa de Montebello being the seed parent, Abraham Darby being the pollen parent. Um, Definitely worth growing if you can get it. For me, it gets big. Like I said, with the Variegata di Bologna, I'm fine with big. Big is fine. Um, I'm actually got two in my yard right now. I definitely, if I had to move, I would take at least one of them with me. Again, in my opinion, Paul Barden roses need to be grown more often as well. So that's another reason. So if you're able to get Marianne, I would get it. I do, or at least in my experience, and here in Missouri, she has a tendency to be a little bit more white, apricot cream than apricot that you would see in other pictures. Um, that's fine. I don't mind that. As I was talking about the Iceberg, non-pink does stand out. So it's a non-pink. Um, I like the form of the rose of the flower as well. Thank you for watching the video and have a good day.